Okay, so the question was, how do you keep your pot on center as you're working with it? So the first place that this can happen, we're gonna do a two-parter. One is gonna be when you're opening, how to keep it on center, and the second one's gonna be about pulling the walls. So basically, this is a centered mound of clay. That is the first way to keep your pot centered all the way through. If you decide to go ahead and start opening and pulling your walls, and you haven't fully centered your clay and gotten every amount of wobble out of it, then you are gonna already have problems with a centered pot. So basically, now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna open. So this is fully centered. Once I get it centered, I'm gonna make sure I let go really slowly, because if I let go quickly, then it's likely to get knocked off center. So now the way that I'm gonna find the center is I'm gonna take my middle finger and I'm pushing along the clay. And then do you see here, there's this like little tower coming up? If I go right where that is, that's the center. I do not want to go past that center or it's gonna get knocked off center. Or I don't wanna be back here because then I'll waste all of that clay. So let me show you what happens when you go past center. You go over here, and it kind of has a lot of fight with that clay coming in towards my finger. I was lucky on this one, it didn't actually get too off center, but a lot of times what I notice is when people are getting off center a lot, it's because their hand is on the opposite side of center. You always kind of want to divide this pot in half, stay on the half closest to you. Okay, so now if I get off center here, I can come all the way back up here. Let's see if I can. Okay, it's got a definite wobble to it. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come up here and start my opening again. I'm gonna make sure I have plenty of water. I'm traveling in towards the middle. And then when I get there, I'm gonna stay put just for a second, just for a couple turns. Now, do you see how this looks pretty centered again? When it travels under my hand, it feels steady to me. And that's why I like to open at an angle, because you can really recover that a lot easier than if you are working straight down. If your hand gets off center, really hard to fix that. All right, so the next place that people sometimes get off center is when they're widening. So when I do this, I bend my fingers, I sort of bring my finger in the middle, bend my finger, pulling straight back towards my body. About right here, it's getting friction because I'm running out of water. So I'm gonna ease my pressure away, grab the water, and then go back to where I started, but where I left off, but I'm going to ease my pressure in and then keep on pulling and then ease my pressure away. If you don't ease in and ease away, or make sure that you don't have friction from not having enough water, then you're going to get off center. So let's go ahead and see if I can